Hello dear students, welcome to your own class Chemistry with Minds. Namaskar. Today we will study ozonolysis of alkynes. So let's start. Ozonolysis of alkyne. What is the ozonolysis of alkyne? In ozonolysis of alkyne, when ozone is passed through a solution of the alkyne in an inert solvent and at low temperature, then we get ozonite. So let's see how it is forming. This is the alkyne, and when we react with ozone in presence of inert solvent and at low temperature, then ozone oxidizes the alkyne. And this is the beauty of the ozone. Whenever it reacts with the alkyne or alkene, it breaks the double bond. Since here it is the triple bond, so it will break only double bond. Two bonds only it will break and it will form the ozonide. One more thing, since here only one multiple bond, that's why only we are using only one molecule of ozone. If any molecule, if there are more than one multiple bond like benzene, then we have to use more than one ozone molecule. So it will break the double bond. So what will form? CH. Now single bond will be remaining, CH, and it will form O. This is the second oxygen, this is the third oxygen. This is called ozonite. Now the first question is, why we have used this inert solvent? Because ozonite formed is unstable and explosive in nature. Since it is explosive in nature and unstable, that is the reason we are using the inert solvent. In place of this inert solvent, we can use chloroform also or CCl4 carbon tetrachloride also. Correct? So not only this, there are other choices also. Now the second question is, why we are using low temperature? Then the reason is again same, because it is explosive in nature. If we will use the high temperature, then there is a chance that this ozonite may explode. That is the reason we have used low temperature. Now third question is, how to isolate this ozonite? Then the answer is, this ozonite generally or usually we are not isolating or we do not isolate. What is the reason? Because it is very unstable and it is explosive in nature. That is the reason we are making this product in this inert solvent. And when we are making this product, after formation of this product, we are not isolating, we will do cleavage of this product. Now cleavage is possible in two ways. One is oxidative cleavage, another is reductive cleavage. Then how it will proceed? Oxidative cleavage and reductive cleavage. Reductive cleavage means this oxygen will go away, and in oxidative cleavage means there will be another oxidation by the oxygen atom. So first let us see how the reductive cleavage take place. For that we will take zinc in presence of water. Then what will happen? This bond will break this bond will break. Now you can see this oxygen, both bond has been breaked, and this oxygen, one bond is break, but other bond it is attached with this carbon. Similarly, this oxygen is attached with this carbon and this bond is breaked. So what it will form? CHO, CHO, and this is the single bond CHO. That is called glyoxal. Now what will happen to this oxygen? Because for this oxygen both bond has been breaked. See, this bond is not break, this is the single bond. This bond will remain attached with both carbon. So when this oxygen will be completely free, it will attach with zinc and it will form zinc oxide. That is the reason we called it reductive cleavage, because oxygen is taken away. Now the conversion of this alkyne into the ozonide, and then conversion of this ozonide or cleavage of this ozonide into the carbonyl compound, that is called ozonolysis. And since this ozonolysis, reductive cleavage has taken place, that's why this ozonolysis is called reductive ozonolysis. Now let us see oxidative ozonolysis. In oxidative ozonolysis, we will not use the zinc. We will use only water. Then what will form? This will form again, it will be breaked like this and it will form CHO, glyoxal, and this oxygen will attach with this H2O and it will form minus H2O2. Now you can see in oxidative and in reductive cleavage, in both cases glyoxal is the compound. Then you will ask, sir, what is the difference in reductive ozonolysis and oxidative ozonolysis? The difference is this H2O2 which is formed, that is made up of H2O plus O. This atomic oxygen again react with this product and it will convert it into oxalic acid. Since oxidation has taken place, that's why this cleavage is called oxidative cleavage, and the conversion of this alkyne into this ozonide and then oxidative cleavage, this reaction is called oxidative ozonolysis. Now let us consider one more reaction. If we are taking substituted product of this alkyne CH3 C triple bond C CH3, when we will do oxidation with ozone in presence of inert solvent and at low temperature, then it will form ozonide. So CH3 C, double bond will be break, so only single bond will be remaining, C CH3. That will be the ozonide product, but that will remain in the solvent. Now there will be cleavage, that can be reductive or oxidative. Correct? This is the reductive cleavage. So it will be breaked like this, but this single bond is not break because this is the two-dimensional board. That's why you can see this single bond is also breaked, but no, that single bond is not break, only this bond and this bond. So what will form? CH3CO, single bond CH3CO, correct? CH3CO, single bond CO, CH3, correct? What is this called? If we will place here hydrogen, then it is called glyoxal. Now the hydrogen is replaced by 2-methyl group, then it will be called dimethyl glyoxal. If you will write the IUPAC name, then it is, we can start the name from this end also or this end also, because this keto position is same from both end. So if we are writing from this end 1, 2, 3, 4, but, and since it is a single bond, so butane. Now at second position and third position there is 2 keto group, so butane, it will be, name will be butane, 2, 3 dione, butane 2, 3 dione, correct? Now one more thing, in place of this zinc we can use hydrogen in presence of palladium, correct? Why? Because this also can do reduction, and since this is a catalyst and this is the hydrogen, that's why it is called catalytic reduction. And in place of this we can use one more thing, that is dimethyl sulfide. When we will use dimethyl sulfide, then it will convert into dimethyl sulfoxide, because this oxygen will react with this and it will form dimethyl sulfoxide. Now the beauty of the dimethyl sulfoxide is water soluble, so it can be easily removed. Second thing, the dimethyl sulfide, if we are using in excess, then also no problem, because the excess of the dimethyl, that can be evaporate, because dimethyl sulfide is volatile in nature. So that is the thing. If you have any doubt, please ask your doubt in the comment box. You can ask your any questions. I will also try to give you the reply as soon as possible. And I request you, please subscribe this video, because if you will subscribe, you will get the notification automatically. Thank you very much.